Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Friday, June 30th, and we expect that we could see some severe thunderstorms across the southern part of the state from Mount Pleasant south, but especially more so once you get down towards the Lansing area off to the south, where there is a slight risk, marginal risk a little bit farther north. But overall, as far as precipitation over the next 72 hours, looks like about 3 to 6 tenths of an inch across central Michigan, and then I think as you get into southern lower Michigan, about 6 tenths to an inch, and locally up to an inch and a half, as some of the precipitational rates out there could be quite heavy. And again, some areas could see locally an inch and a half or more in some of the stronger thunderstorms across any portions of the lower peninsula that do get these storms. And you can see an extended outlook. Looks like we're going to continue to see warmer than normal conditions and stormier than normal conditions again, but I don't think nothing outrageous. Definitely warmer next week than it has been this week, with temperatures in the 80s, increasing dew point and humidities as we get back towards Tuesday. Over the weekend looks pretty nice, although we can't rule out a thunder shower over the weekend. Most of the time it'll be dry and quite sunshine filled across much of the area. So again, good weekend to go out and do some camping or anything outdoors. If we look at the webcam shot from Brown City this morning, where yesterday we had a nice growers meeting talking about the upcoming wheat harvest, and some of the speakers included Jody Pollock Newsom from the Michigan Wheat Program, and talked about the checkoff program and some of the research and programs that has provided, including some exciting gene identification that may help to eventually reduce toxins, and some other exciting news coming down the road. We had Martin Nagelkirk from the MSU Extension Office talking about wheat quality across the state, and we also had a market update from MAC's Chris Betts, and we also had Rosemarie Gallagher from the FSA in Sanilac County out there as well. And I provided a forecast for wheat harvest into the fall, and talked about where we've been and where we're at, and where I think we're going to be heading here over the next several weeks as we get into wheat harvest. One of the things that we talked about is that we are now in a El Nino after a winter where we barely had a weak La Nina, but much of the time we spent kind of in the negative neutral area. We've become positive, and now the differential in the pressures from Darwin and Tahiti now are negative minus or negative 8.6, negative 8 over a 30-day average, and that's what this column represents as a 30-day average. Now again, officially puts us into a very weak El Nino, and we expect that to continue through the summer into the winter. But because it's very weak, we don't see we don't see a whole lot of blocking going on. Normally in a moderate to strong El Nino, we'd expect a cooler summer, wetter summer. We've definitely had the moisture, but I think we're going to continue to see plenty of heat. That was never really an issue with my forecast as far as growing degree days. It was always going to be about whether or not we'd see a lot of moisture, and we figured we'd have plenty of moisture, and in some areas way too much moisture. At some of the variable precipitation through the month of June, you can see Breckenridge 7.8 all the way down to an inch, but there were some nice rains overnight across southeast lower Michigan. Jasper now up to an inch and a half. They were around 9 tenths, so they picked up about 6 tenths of an inch of rainfall, and their station went down at 4:30 this morning, so maybe they got more than this, and we'll have to check with that. We'll get that station up and running. I'm not sure if the internet went down or if the computer went down. And Blissfield also picked up to about a little over 3 tenths of an inch of rain there. And we expect, again, plenty of rainfall across the southern part of the state here over the next 7 days. Temperatures out there this morning in the mid-60s across many areas. And you can see some of the precipitation that fell here over the last 24 hours. You can see all the way up to, we actually had a third of an inch of rain during the late night hours on Wednesday and Thursday in the Breckenridge area. So again, all areas have picked up at least some rain. Definitely much less rainfall than what some of the models predicted about 4 days ago, and that was good news there. And again, you can see on the satellite some of the thunderstorm development across the northern Ohio Valley into southeast lower Michigan here overnight, and many more developmental storms across Missouri and Iowa where they picked up a lot of rain there. And again, as this cold front begins to slowly move this area through the area here later on today, we expect redevelopment of new thunderstorms that could bring, again, some severe weather to the state. Looking on the radar this morning over the last 8 hours, you can see where those thunderstorms moved in to southeast lower Michigan, begin to weaken as they head to the northeast. You can see a nice little shower thunderstorm over near the St. Thomas area this morning. And if we look at the forecast map for today, again, this low pressure system And the cold front, that keeps this cold front from moving very fast when you continually have low pressure systems moving along it. But eventually we expect this to press through the area. And again, southeast lower Michigan under the gun with a slight risk of severe thunderstorms here for later on this afternoon. And if we look at the weather map by Saturday, the cold front finally moves through the area, pushing the rain off to the east. Again, cannot rule out a thunderstorm on the day on Saturday, but most of the time it'll be dry with plenty of sunshine and temperatures again up around 80 all weekend. And if we look at the forecast map for Sunday, again another weak system moving off to the north, and that will give us a chance of maybe a scattered thunderstorm again Sunday. And again, overall though, it looks like a pretty nice summery weekend on tap. As far as how much precipitation over the next 72 hours, you can see very little precipitation across the UP and northern lower Michigan, but eventually you get down to central Michigan, we get into the area where we could see some of the stronger thunderstorms. And again, some of the rainfall could be quite heavy across far southern lower Michigan. And if we look at the 7-day outlook, you can see where the most of the rainfall will be across southern lower Michigan. Again, very little precipitation over the next 7 days across the UP into northern lower Michigan. Again, the most rainfall we expect will be across far southern lower Michigan. That's the area where that really does need it. And you can see the forecast for today, the slight risk area comes up into areas around Grand Rapids to Ithaca or towards Capac. And again, the marginal risk on to the north of that as you get up towards Clare and Mount Pleasant. And again, anywhere in this area, any thunderstorms that develop, again, could produce some very torrential downpours this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. And for the weekend, temperatures around 80 degrees with just a slight chance of some scattered showers or thunderstorms. But again, much of the time, it'll be quite sunny. And again, temperatures in the mid 70s, around 80s, we get into early next week. And then I think we begin to warm well into the 80s, maybe even as early as Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on that. But again, 80s will find their way into the area for much of next week as we have a very nice summery weather outlook. And again, hopefully we'll see wheat really begin to get harvested across the southern part of the state as we get into next week, spreading to the north. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and 73s to all.